Today we're going into London, sort of a Shell quick charge thing. Hiya.
Right.
Let's head in. We're here well early, so, oh yeah. Prerequisite coffee stop.
So what was your reason for going for a Nissan Leaf?
Because I had a test drive and I loved it. Just Soph was looking for a car at the time because she needed a new car, and she said, I'm at Nissan, they've got this electric car, you should come try it out. She didn't think I'd get it. I was in it for like 10 minutes and by the time it was like, right, I'm going home, I'm going to work out how I can do this.
Pure by chance then that you ended up in an electric car, which put you in a Tesla, ultimately.
Yeah, and going on to see Shell unveiling their... Are they unveiling today or are they unveiling tomorrow? I can't remember. I think we'll take them back to the car before we go. I love Riverside. They're nice and isolated. And sort of even in the middle of the city, it feels like a natural environment. It's great. That was awesome.
That was good.
Yeah. Look what I found. It's a quick charger. One of the quick chargers we've come to look at. Who's the manufacturer on this one?
Is it? I don't know. It's I've seen it before. I've seen one in Europe, the same design. I've used one there, but I can't remember. What's the manufacturer of the actual unit?
Ah, fantastic. So not DBT.
No.
The thing I find with the chargers is where they are is almost more important than how fast they charge.
Yeah.
That's why I use Ecotricity so much, because they'll often fall at the right point in my journey for my son to have lunch, and you know, we all need coffees and a short break.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. And even though there's a supercharger maybe 50 miles before or 50 miles ahead, because it's in the wrong place, we're either going to have to do an extra stop or miss it, and we often just miss it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the idea of Shell putting them at quite a lot, hopefully, of petrol stations, because it will mean that you'll be able to drive the car with confidence to a lower point. Is this actually a proper 50 kilowatt charger?
Yes.
So it won't top out at 40 like the Ecotricity ones? Oh, brilliant!
And when you go through the app, it shows you your average speed of charging.
Right, brilliant.
So of course, you know, that will vary over time. But I mean, I plugged in earlier and it came up at
40 kilowatt one is it's a little bit low.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you plug in empty, because it's current limited. So when you plug in empty, you only really get 36. There's a big difference between 36 and a genuine 50.
Yeah.
I've never even seen one there.
Yeah, these things are awesome. From California, border.
How do they work?
Because I can't. If I even look, I feel unsteady now.
Like that.
Just that it's there. I'll fall
You
over.
stuff on the back and it just pops up.
That's very handy.
Thank you ever so much for coming, and thank you all very much for your time as well, because this is a really exciting day for Shell in the UK. It's actually an exciting day for Shell globally, because we're launching our very first branded rapid charge post on a Shell branded forecourt. The UK is actually the first market in Shell globally to do this, and bear in mind, you know, Shell's present in over 80 countries around the world, and we've got about 43,000 service stations. So this is a real first for us. So we're really excited about it. And what we'd like to do is just take the opportunity tonight, hear your questions, understand what's important to you, as well as obviously we'll take you over and demonstrate the charge post in operation. This is new for us. Yeah? We've never done this before. So what we want to try and do is learn. And what we're trying to make sure is that we're offering all customers the right choices. So it doesn't really matter what you drive, whether you drive an electric vehicle or a petrol vehicle or a hydrogen vehicle or an LNG truck. What we're doing in the world of future fuels in the UK is all designed to give customers choice. And perhaps slightly unusually for Shell, we're doing this, this is quite small. We've got 10 locations which will be open with recharge posts by the end of the year. But we've done that deliberately so that we can start small, learn quickly, listen to what our customers say to us about what they like and what they don't like, adapt and then move on.
I drive quite regularly to see some friends who live in Woking, and it's too much of a faff to bother plugging into their 3-pin socket, and they don't have a proper charger. And the return journey to them is something like 160, 170 miles. So for a 90% charge on my car, it'll do it, but I'm getting down into that end of things where I don't like to be, battery-wise. I tend to drive up to South Mims and stop there where there's a supercharger and get a coffee. I'd actually rather get a coffee right at the beginning of that journey, so I've got it for the drive. If the Shell petrol station there had a quick charger, I would go get myself a Costa Express. I'd put 5 minutes in, which would just add maybe 7-8%, maybe a bit more, but that would be enough to make it a really comfortable drive home, and I'd have bought a coffee.
Our starting assumption was that most drivers would want to fill up by 60 or 80%. So that's kind of where we started our thinking. But as we've got into it more and more, we've talked to more drivers and actually experienced driving electric vehicles as well. You do understand that and again, it's not that dissimilar from any refuel. You don't always fill your car up with petrol. You might just put £20 in or whatever. It's the same thing. You don't necessarily need to fill or recharge your electric vehicle from 0 to 90 every single time. And again, it just comes back to convenience, choice, and recognising that this is an on-the-go kind of service. It's very different from charging at home, and we recognise that a lot of people will continue to charge at home because that's what they want to do. But they also need the option to be able to charge when they're out and about and on the go, and that's what we're trying to do, is offer that choice.
Sometimes we film in London and we're zooming around all day, and it would be great to go, oh look, let's get a coffee and I'll just give it a top up while we're at the garage. That is actually extremely appealing, and if I was paying for that, it's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal because I don't do it very often, but that is a big plus for me. It's a very personal thing, I suppose.
We're going off to see the charger. I've just spotted the EV driver's welcome sign.
I just want to run through a little bit of the process that we're doing. So we know it's app-based. If I go into my mobile phone, now as Nazim says, we don't want to use our mobile phones on the forecourt, but that's really for your own safety when you're walking around. Absolutely fine to use it at the charge post, do it in your car or at the charge post. So I'm just going to go on my phone, and we have an app called Smooth. So this enables you to find the location before you come here. You can see live availability of the sites as well. And when you open it up, it brings you straight to the location that you're at. So there's a little button at the bottom that says Quick Start, or if I were to click on the location, it will pop up a little bit of information about the site. So I could navigate to it, or I can actually start charging from it. So that's the live availability of is it in action, is it being used? Because I've signed into this before, it knows what car I've got, it knows what adapter I need to plug into my i3. I'm just going to press Start Charge. So on the screen there's a prompt, but it says plug your car in. So I've done that, just heard it click, it's connecting. It's gone blue on here, show the amount of charge that's going through it.
I'm just excited to see a company like Shell actually getting behind something like quick chargers in what seems to be a quite forceful and determined way, because it's been such a false start with so many different things, and EV drivers have been crying out for a good reliable charger that they can pay for with contactless, which as I understand it is basically, it's not what you're offering just now, but by the time a lot of people actually get round to trying one of these, it will be contactless. So it's great to see that the muscle of a bigger organisation actually coming to bear on the problem of quick charging.
Fantastic to hear. I mean, like I said, we're really excited about it, and this is the start for us. So we're looking forward to developing in this space, learning in this space, and I'd like to thank you and all of the team who's come this evening to give us your thoughts and your ideas and suggestions, and I think it's given us an awful lot more insight and understanding that we had at the beginning of the evening, so thank you very much indeed.
Well, my pleasure. Goodie bags! Well, goodie boxes. Board ups are brilliant! Cheers, see you tomorrow. I think this is probably the end of today's blog post because I'm knackered and we're heading home, and I've shot like about 2 hours of footage. It's a nightmare. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I hope you enjoyed today's blog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I'll see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. I would do my customary bye-bye, but we don't have the hands. Yeah, there's a real sort of vein of Tesla owners that have gone out and bought these Evolve electric skateboards. When are you getting yours?
Yeah, I'm not one of them. I could may as well just stay home and break both legs. And it's too much cheaper.
It's easier than you might think.
No, it's not. Anything that moves under my feet is lethal for me.